Motion to open the select board meeting.
So be it.
Moved
Second.
and seconded, all those in favor, please signify, thank you. It's open, old business, newsletter policy, which is in your books. I don't believe it's changed much since we looked at it last time, it's fairly short. Any discussion on it?
Nope.
I found the typo
You did, okay. Where,
on page 2.
okay,
It's
Changes
influence.
indicated by lines here,
Where is it, Ernie?
this one?
Where is Ernie?
It's when it says the organization submitting the article must be located, that's crossed out, and it's have influence, not
Well,
the other way around. The L and the U
Okay.
yeah.
That's all I saw.
Anybody else?
no.
Can we go ahead and get a motion to accept this with the provisions that change to be made, and then we'll sign it next meeting?
Move
I have a
that.
motion,
Second.
moved and seconded, all those in favor? I want to move item 6 up under old business unless anybody has a problem with that. We talked about it a couple of times. It seems to me that in my mind, we have options. We can leave it set and wait for the state to go ahead. Because of the lopsided vote that we had in the town of Belgrade, we can put it on the June ballot and let the public decide if they want a moratorium on implementing. I think the part that we have to have a moratorium on is the clubs and open sales other than medical. So, what do you think?
Let the people decide.
What's the harm if we don't do
If you
anything?
do nothing, then you find, well, I don't know.
I would think that if we don't do anything and people start the process of doing the paperwork to establish a place where they can sell it and do these other things, then we probably will be limited to what we could restrict.
I think that's, yeah.
I think the reason that the towns that are opting to do a moratorium until the dust settles, then they can decide whether they want to allow it or not allow it. But if we do a moratorium, it just gives us the advantage.
Protects our options.
Yeah,
This
It's only
does
for
not
100
affect the grow your own process.
It's basically the commercial stuff and
The
the,
commercial stuff
yeah.
is what this
and
affects.
the clubs. It's only for 180 days anyway. The moratorium can't have, you can renew it if they have cause to renew it, but that's it. But it has to go to the town the first time because it's an ordinance.
Any more discussion? Looking for a motion? It's been moved that we put this before the people in May and let them decide whether they want a moratorium or not. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? 3 in favor, 2 opposed. New business appointments.
so, all right, so you want that on the June ballot?
June ballot, yeah. Otherwise, it's gonna be
So
not doable.
do we have a copy of other?
We're getting, yes.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, our town manager has become rather an expert on this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I would hope that we could look, before you leave, at the, the item in for the ballot and also some other, what other towns have done. Appointments. We have an appointment to Richard Baker to be appointed to the planning board.
So be it.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor? 5-0.
What he wants to do is swap with Craig Alexander. I think it's Craig Alexander.
Craig Alexander's gonna be on the.
He's an
dams
excellent-
board.
No, okay, he's swapping with somebody.
No, but he's on, Craig is down for dams.
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
Craig's
Yeah,
already on the board.
I think it's just a new term, isn't it?
He was appointed, and then I think somebody else is looking to have him put in the permanent spot and switch with him, and they will be the alternate, somebody else that's on the
On the planning board.
On the, yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we're voting to put Rich Baker in the alternate position?
That's what it sounds like.
That's what I thought. But I thought it was, I missed.
Okay, we're on the dam committee. Craig Alexander.
It does say Craig Alexander. In the handwritten,
Yeah, down at the
it
bottom.
does say Craig
Yeah.
Alexander.
So Craig is leaving, well, he's going on the dams committee also, so.
Would like to change positions with Craig Alexander so that he will be, so we have voted Richard Baker onto the planning board.
Well, he's on the planning board, we're gonna make him an alternate.
Yes. Now we need to vote, we need I need a motion for Craig Alexander to go on a dam committee.
I'll make
No.
that.
It's been moved. Do I hear a second?
Did we vote on the
Didn't we
other
vote on
We
Craig?
did,
We voted
yes.
on Craig already, didn't we?
Yeah, we,
For the
No,
planning board. That was the last
we
meeting.
voted for Richard Baker to be placed on the planning board.
Right. I thought Craig Alexander was voted a couple of meetings ago.
He was, but for the planning
Dams.
board.
Oh, the planning board?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Motion for Craig it's been moved. I have a second. All those in favor? Okay. We have a liquor license for the Sunset Grill, which I thought we had done, but we didn't.
I'll make a motion.
It's been
second,
moved, the Sunset Grill has a liquor license,
I
and
second.
seconded. All those in favor? And that's done.
I thought we had done it too. I second guessed that.
No, not that one.
we did a couple of others, I know.
Yeah, we did,
We
we did the
did,
golf course, and
yeah.
we did the Sadie's Boathouse.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I've got that. We also have, aside from that, we have the Belgrade Lakes Association applications for a license to operate Vino Bingo or Game of Chance. I think they do that every year.
Yeah.
yeah. I'll make that motion.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor? Done. And what happened to my schedule here? Okay, the next thing I asked to have it put on there, and that's first class.
Yeah,
First class is what we used to use for email and for what's now the book and what before that was the book. We pay about $1,017 a year for first class. And the reason I put this on the agenda is because the other day when I sent out a notification on something, I had to send for 2 members of the select board to 2 different email addresses.
Wonder who that might be.
I don't know,
I
Rick.
only got one that I use. I don't use their towns.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So, we pay $1,000 for it. Are we gonna use it?
I don't know what else we use it for, I guess should check with the town. The only thing we were basically using it for was the select board meeting, and we would have the stuff in there
On the computer?
on the computer.
Yeah.
I have not, I probably got all kinds of mail in there, I've never looked at the mail.
Okay, one of the reasons, as I remember it, that we did this was we had a repository for the corporate email. In other words, all the business email that we sent back and forth would go into this system and be retrievable, and as it stands right now, if it's on your personal computer and Ernie gets taken to court again,
Yeah.
God forbid,
Well, they just asked you to
and
print it out.
emails are part of that,
Yeah.
they can confiscate your computer and
Well,
take a
what-
look at it.
What they do,
Yeah,
because I
something, yeah.
experienced that, what they do is you have to give them a printout of all your emails that
Yeah.
was sent to the particular party. And then they know what was said.
If you use a personal email for just one-way communication, just receiving, it's not as bad as going back and forth.
If there is a subpoena for your computer, they take your computer and look at it.
Yeah.
They could do it
And for
anyway.
any of you people that do bad things on your computer, that's not good. So, what do you want to do with first class? I guess that's my big question. I use it for email. I find that it's fairly kludgy. It's not a simple email system.
What about using something like Gmail or Hotmail? They're free, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, if we don't use, yeah, they're free. If we don't use first class, then I guess anybody could use whatever they want. Some of you already have Gmail addresses.
I use it, yeah, that's what I've had forever.
Yeah, so It just seems to me for $1,000 a year, that's a little pricey.
Didn't the town use Outlook before, previous to?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
I think the key here is that we, as a board,
Yeah.
and dealing with town business, it is absolutely very restrictive. It's one thing to send everybody just an informational
Yeah,
email.
yeah, yeah.
That's it, and you can't conduct town business. As long as that's all we do, there's no question he said, she said, it's just, hey,
We're not making any decisions
No,
on this. We
no.
just, all that goes out generally is just information.
I got both emails from you, but
Yeah.
I don't, because it came in, but I didn't go into my Belgrade account, because it's just pain in the, it's pain in the butt.
The reason, I think Ricky's the same way, the reason I like to have stuff sent to my home is because it shows up on my phone.
Yeah, and I don't care.
And what all I'm saying is that, because what I had asked to have them do is send to both the town and my personal. I don't ever respond to my personal, I just receive those.
But can't they be on first class, so it's transferred over to the personal emails?
I think it can,
You
I
can
think
do
you do
that,
that,
so
but
if you
then,
do have a record, if anything ever happens, it'll be in the first class, but it'll still go to Gmail, email, whatever, Yahoo, whatever.
are you even on first class, Augie?
No,
That's the first I've heard.
Nobody's ever put you on first class
I've
at
never
all.
heard of it.
You
I mean,
have a computer yet?
I have a computer, but I haven't made that, any transition to it or anything yet. You know, I guess I'm open to doing that.
So I guess I go back to my question, is it worth $1,000 a year as a pass-through?
Well, the only thing that I would caution you guys about is, like you said, the liability of using your personal computer and your personal email account. But the other thing is you have that historical information that's stored on a server somewhere in the clouds. And if there's ever an FOA request and you don't have access to that email, because no emails are ever deleted from first class. So that would be my only word
It's
of
probably a good
caution.
insurance policy.
Yeah.
But that way we have to all send it through first class.
Can it be,
Or one person does.
Yeah,
All of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know.
but if it comes out from the town, it will go out first class anyways, and then it'll roll over to, like mine's Yahoo.
I think yours gets sent to 2 addresses.
One of them, well, probably does to the town. The school one's no good. I don't know, that used to be going to that steady, but I had 3.
Well, I think actually, I think you're on first class, and I think, do you send it to first class for him and his,
I
No.
don't
You
bother
just send it
sending it
to
to
his-
first
yeah.
class anymore.
It just
because you just-
goes right to my home one, because I wasn't getting stuff.
yeah. I think as long as we, and really, it's the select board that's in danger here, because we can't hold a public meeting. It becomes a legal issue if somebody
Yep.
took issue with it. But just to send information, that's it, that's it, then it doesn't matter. I don't think there's any real danger, as long as we do not reply back to each other about stuff.
especially one-way communication?
Pick up the phone and call if you
We're
got.
better off doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Can it be, if we stick with first class, can it be set up that we also, it goes to 2 places? Goes to personal email as well as,
Yeah, that's what I just asked.
Yeah.
so we're willing to spend $1,000 a year for a pass-through system. That's what you're telling me.
My question is, being new to this, is this our only option, or, I mean, does MMA advise we do this with this particular system, or?
I don't think they advise anything, other
other,
than emails can be available for somebody coming in and asking for them.
the only thing they advise is that we have a town system, so.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's not on personal
Yeah,
computers.
I think that the key with MMA and legal is, if I send an email out to everybody and you then reply back to me.
Yeah.
If I ask you a question, you reply back to me, we've now conducted business.
Business, that's
We
exactly.
cannot do that. That's the problem that towns run into, is they start using it as a way to communicate rather than just sending out an information saying, oh, at the select board meeting, this and this is gonna be on the agenda. See you Tuesday night. Information only. So that's not
The other way to look at it is what was mentioned before, it's an archive. So all this stuff is archived someplace. Whereas if we went to some other system, that may not be available. And $1,000 for an archive system is not bad, if that's all it is.
I guess my question is, I agree with the idea of archiving things. Is this, do you have to pay $1,000 a year to archive?
No.
I mean.
So how else can you do it through Gmail as an example?
You can, well, no, you have to, Look,
Any
you have to have
email, any email that's sent from here, no matter what we're using for a server, is recorded.
No, not necessarily.
They get deleted, your email, when you send an email from this office
If I'm
before,
not using first
They used-
class, no.
they used to keep that for at least 3
well,
years.
it goes into the send file. You'll have a send file on there, I don't know how often.
Should go right into the server.
Huh?
Should go, be
Well,
going
it
in the
will go to
server.
the server, but they can clean that off fairly, at some point, they come in and clean all the archive stuff up, which would be that stuff in the send file.
I think we should table this, Howard knows.
Yeah, I
that stuff,
emailed him
you know.
today and asked him.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, we'll table it.
And then, Howard he knows how the thing works, and we're here talking about
Yep.
something that I don't even use it.
Well, I had hoped he would be
I
there
do
because,
something.
Yeah, well, just so you know, I did have a discussion with our tech guy this winter, and I was asking him about the possibility of switching to a Gmail account or something like that, that would still be at townofbelgrade.com. And in order to do that, that's not a free service, that's a pay service, and you have to pay per account. So, and it actually was more than the
First
first
class.
class.
Yeah.
So-
Are we on, do we have the cable? Do we have TWC in here for anything? Why can't we go in their system?
let's wait till Howard gets here, I agree, let's table this until Howard comes in and we'll talk about it. And we're on to the warrant.
Who's got the warrant?
Mr. Rice, can you do the,
The honors?
Yep. This is warrant number 48, $522,379.13. Need a second.
I'll second it.
any discussion?
Question. We buying blinds?
Yep.
For what?
This office,
In here?
the exterior windows, yes. The sun comes in and hits the computer monitors and
Okay.
blinds the front counter people
Okay, so I
occasionally
wasn't know.
during the day.
Is the if we dropped first class, that's $1,400 to pay for the blinds.
Could be.
I had it was under the code enforcement officer, I don't know when that's, Gary Fuller, on the third page, 008, or actually 0177. Those, is that a duplicate?
No, no, that's two different mileage sheets, one for each week.
Okay, 3696 and 3608 comes up to 7304, all right. Yep, all right.
Any further discussion? It's been moved and seconded that we accept the warrant. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And it's done. Town manager.
Very short, because I was off weekend off in Florida last week, so.
She has a tan, everybody should notice that. And make bad comments.
I thought it was blood pressure.
So I just want to know the results of the Route 27 meeting down in the village with,
Arnie?
We didn't have it yet.
Yeah, we had it. Well, we didn't have it in the village, he came
oh, I
in
thought you
here.
were having it last week.
Well, we
Didn't-
haven't heard. I just checked today with Diane.
Oh,
Have you heard
in the
anything about
village.
it?
I'm sorry, down in the
Heard it?
village. yeah.
Huggy?
Nope,
No.
I think it's scheduled for later.
He never set a date, at least he
They
didn't say it.
haven't set a date yet, I mean,
Well, when he left, he said about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Sometime in May, I thought he said.
Is Diane gonna tell you when it's,
yes, I mean, that would be maybe next week if it's 3 weeks. I haven't heard anything, so I guess we'll discuss that next time.
Okay. I was hoping to.
Mr. Barrett and Mr. Merkins are gonna attend that. And bring back all the wonderful comments.
Okay. And
We'll
then-
bring back the comments anyway.
And then, just one quick thing, I looked at the calendar wrong, and I have on the upcoming dates on the bottom of the agenda, the road committee meeting is being tomorrow, it's not, it's next week. So the road committee meeting is on April 26th, at 6 o'clock here, so, sorry about that, Jack and Ernie. And then, you folks have, thank you, an executive session scheduled for next Tuesday at 6:30 to review the town manager applications, followed by interviews beginning at 8 AM on Saturday, the 29th. And that's it.
For that road committee, we're gonna need the contract for the sand and salt. When does that expire?
This year, yeah,
It does expire June.
yeah,
All right,
that's on my list.
all right, good. Yeah, I know David spoke to me. Good.
My list, yeah.
Anything under other? Except, I have one thing under other.
Go ahead with yours.
Somebody needs to schedule the conference room and this meeting room. Because I think the other night they had 3 meetings in 2 rooms.
Right.
And Howard sent an email to everybody. I think we all got one.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
guess
somebody needs to schedule that and make sure that we're not overbooked on, in the rooms.
Yeah, Anthony and I had a discussion about that today.
Okay,
so-
that's good. Yep.
For what it's worth, Howard's group had the room for their meeting. Were able to have the meeting, we just kept moving everybody else along.
Okay, anything else?
I got a couple things,
Okay,
and maybe I ought to wait. I'll wait till we get into
sure.
things.
Okay, with that, we need to go into an executive session. Thank you folks for coming. It's short, Jack.